Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding this hearing on this very important matter. And thank you all on the panel for your presence today and for your expertise that you bring to the table. I want to take just a moment to talk about the importance of including a citizenship question in our census. And I want to come to you, Mr. Miller. Should the census include a citizenship question?
Yes, I would argue that it is constitutionally mandated in terms of what the census is seeking to produce from a constitutional perspective. So knowing citizenship or residency status, lawful permanent residence status, or otherwise is important in understanding how all of the total population fits into what you must do with that data.
Thank you. And has the census ever included a citizenship question?
That's a good question historically. Anyone? I think it has historically, but has not recently. They tried to get that going last time and ran into APA violation issues, and so it was not included.
And I kind of follow up to that because I think it has, and why was the question removed? That would be the real question here.
Are you asking me to speculate? So I suspect that it was an attempt to try to increase population levels in ways that would help certain states because they're now counting illegal immigrants for the purposes of apportionment and illegal immigrants and legal immigrants for the purposes of redistricting. Okay,
and what are some of the effects of leaving a citizenship question out of the census?
If you don't know accurate citizen status, then if your argument is that it is that constitutionally you should only be creating political districts with those who are here lawful permanent residents and citizens or just citizens, then you need to know that data in order to create political maps that reflect that data set, if that's your objective.
Sure. So the result of our census not only controls how congressional and state districts are drawn, but it also directs the flow of federal dollars. I mean, we talk about Medicaid, highway funds, education, SNAP benefits, all use population and demographic data from the census to award funds. And so when we don't distinguish between citizens and non-citizens when determining our population, it incentivizes states to mass import illegals through sanctuary policies. Now, we just went through the Big Beautiful Bill or Working Families Tax Act, and we made an effort to ensure illegals are not accessing welfare programs, but I'm worried that when we allow them to be considered for purposes of determining benefit formulas, it undermines that purpose. So, Mr. Miller, do you agree that including illegal aliens in population totals for federal programs undermines the recent reforms to prohibit illegal aliens from taking benefits away from Americans?
Certainly, so there's two questions here. Should you count them, and then how should that data be used and for what purposes? But certainly if you are counting illegal aliens and you don't know their location, and the location of those illegal aliens because of differential privacy is being moved around, that would have significant impacts on every single federal funding formula, assuming that memorandums of understanding are not being properly submitted to the census to ascertain accurate information on ways to disperse those federal funds.
Agreed. And I would submit that when we allow illegal aliens to be counted toward the total population for the purposes of determining welfare award numbers, it distorts the proper amount that should be given to that community, and that ultimately puts a further strain on the federal budget. Mr. Mayfield, let me ask you real quickly in the last moment I have. I'm very grateful to be serving in the House of Representatives, which is a Democratic body, but I worry that the errors in the 2020 census undermine this institution and its purposes, which is to represent the American people. Can you, Mr. Mayfield, explain how the way in which the 2020 census was conducted undermined the representation of the American people?
Thank you for that question, Congressman. It's important in asking that question to make a distinction between two things: the gathering of the data, the collection, and the processing of that data. The gathering of the data by the census in 2020 was exemplary. As your colleague, Mr. Raskin, pointed out, the COVID pandemic made things extremely difficult. There were also hurricanes that affected, in particular, Alabama and Louisiana, and so the collection was delayed. The collection was tied for the most successful census in history. We had a 99.98 household contact rate. I say we, I had nothing to do with that. The Bureau did. There were three primary reasons for that success. Number one, President Trump insisted that the census follow regular order and not make shortcuts in the census. Number two, the census had done a good job over the previous decade implementing technology and cutting out many, many layers of needless follow-up, including using administrative records such as the Postal Service. And three, as you may recall, the census lockdown day was March 18th. As chance would happen it, Census Day is April 1st. So virtually everyone was in their home. Once they got done watching Tiger King, they decided to fill out their census forms. The problem that the people here have spoken to here today comes in this census is data processing. The largest problem was differential privacy, which, as several speakers have alluded, moves people around. In the modeling prior to the census that was done at the University of Virginia, under a census contract, it basically, I'm summing this up, moved people from urban areas to rural areas where they did not exist. You can all discern from that if that's true what the political modeling would look like. Another major problem in—
Mr. Manfield, if you can wrap this up.
Sure.
We're a little over time.
Group quarters was a problem because colleges in particular and other large quarters were double counted. The census went back and changed the data to assume that people were where they thought they were instead of just where they were when they answered the census.
Thank you. I'm out of time, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.